The house stood on a quiet street, a white picket fence framing a lush green lawn. It was the kind of home where children's laughter spilled out of open windows, where the aroma of baking cookies filled the air. This was the home of the Andersons, a family that seemed to have it all. John, the father, was a successful architect. Mary, the mother, was a dedicated teacher. They had two beautiful children, Emily, a bright and bubbly 8-year-old, and Ethan, a playful 5-year-old with a contagious laugh. Life was good, or so it seemed. Behind the facade of the perfect family, a sinister secret brewed, a secret that would soon shatter their idyllic life into a million pieces. It began with the arrival of a new nurse for Mary's aging mother. Evelyn, with her warm smile, quickly became a trusted member of the family. Little did they know she was about to unleash a storm that would leave their lives in ruins. They were the perfect family, recalled Margaret, a neighbor. John and Mary seemed so in love. Their children always had smiles on their faces. It's hard to believe something so horrible could happen to such good people. But happen it did, and the truth, as they say, is often stranger than fiction. The story of the Andersons is a story of betrayal, of dark secrets, and the devastating consequences of a nurse's affair that tore a family apart. Evelyn was a godsend, or so it seemed at first. Patient and attentive, she quickly earned the trust of the entire family. She would spend hours reading to Mary's mother, her soothing voice calming the elderly woman's anxieties. She would help Emily with her homework, her praise boosting the young girl's confidence. Even Ethan, initially wary of strangers, warmed up to Evelyn's gentle nature, his small hand often reaching for hers. What the Andersons didn't know was that Evelyn was a master manipulator, a wolf in sheep's clothing. Beneath her caring exterior lurked a darkness, a desperate need for control that would soon rear its ugly head. It began subtly, a lingering touch, a suggestive glance, all directed at John. He, initially oblivious, dismissed it as harmless flirting, but Evelyn was persistent, her advances becoming bolder with each passing day. She was like a chameleon, Sarah, a former colleague of Evelyn's, revealed in an exclusive interview. She could adapt to any situation, become whoever she needed to be to get what she wanted. And what she wanted, more than anything, was to control the lives of others. As weeks turned into months, Evelyn's insidious plan began to unfold. The web she was weaving, a tangled mess of lies and deceit, would soon ensnare the unsuspecting Andersons, dragging them down a path of unimaginable darkness. The first signs of trouble were subtle, almost imperceptible. John, once warm and affectionate, became withdrawn, his laughter replaced with silence. Mary noticed the change in her husband. His late nights, curt replies, and lack of interest pointed to something amiss. Her suspicions grew with Evelyn's lingering glances and calculated touches. The children sensed the shift in their home. Emily retreated into herself, her laughter silenced. Even Ethan felt the tension, his playful nature subdued.
"I knew something was wrong," Mary confessed, her voice trembling. John wasn't himself. He was distant, secretive. And then there was Evelyn, always lurking in the background.
Driven by instinct, Mary began to dig, determined to uncover the truth. What she discovered would unravel the very fabric of their lives. The confrontation, when it finally came, was like a bomb detonating in the heart of the Anderson household. Mary, armed with her suspicions and fueled by a mother's fury, confronted John about his relationship with Evelyn. His denials were weak, his excuses hollow, unable to withstand the weight of her accusations. The truth, ugly and raw, spilled out into the open, shattering the illusion of their perfect life. John, stripped bare of his lies, finally admitted to the affair, his words like daggers piercing Mary's heart. The betrayal cut deep, leaving her reeling, her world collapsing around her.
"How could you?" Mary's voice, hoarse with pain, echoed through the room. "How could you do this to us, to our family?"
The children, witnesses to their parents' implosion, retreated further into themselves, their innocence lost in the wreckage of their shattered family. Emily, her eyes filled with a pain too profound for her young years, sought solace in her room, her childhood dreams replaced by a chilling reality. Ethan, confused and frightened, clung to his mother, his small body trembling with unspoken fear. The days that followed were a blur of anger, accusations, and gut-wrenching sobs.
I was consumed by guilt and shame, trying to salvage what was left of our marriage, but the damage was too deep, the wound too raw to heal.
My heart was broken, my trust shattered. I grappled with the betrayal, the image of my perfect life replaced by a twisted nightmare.
Evelyn, the catalyst of their destruction, vanished from their lives as quickly as she had entered, leaving behind a trail of devastation. But her absence did little to mend the fractured family. The once happy home was now shrouded in a deafening silence, the laughter and joy replaced by a palpable tension.
It was like a storm had ripped through our lives. The curtains were drawn, the laughter was gone. It was heartbreaking to see.
John, desperate to escape the suffocating guilt and the constant reminders of his betrayal, turned to alcohol, seeking solace at the bottom of a bottle. His once successful career faltered, his life spiraling out of control. Mary, her world turned upside down, struggled to hold on for the sake of her children, their innocent faces a constant reminder of what she had lost. The nightmare took an even darker turn on a cold November morning.
My children are missing. Emily and Ethan, they were just playing in the backyard after school, and now they're gone.
Panic surged through Mary, her mind racing with terrifying possibilities.
2 children are missing. Emily Anderson, 8 years old, and Ethan Anderson, 5 years old, were last seen playing in their backyard. We are treating this as a possible abduction and are following all leads.
The community, reeling from the news, rallied around Mary, their hearts breaking for the mother who had already endured so much. But as the hours turned into days, and the days stretched into an agonizing week, hope began to dwindle, replaced by a chilling certainty that something terrible had happened to Emily and Ethan. The search for Emily and Ethan captivated the nation. Their faces, frozen in time and missing posters plastered across every street corner, stared out at the world, their innocent eyes reflecting the collective grief of a community united in their desperate hope for a miracle. Candlelight vigils were held, prayers were whispered, and volunteers combed through woods and fields, their determination fueled by a shared sense of urgency and a desperate plea for the safe return of the missing children. But as each day passed without a sign of Emily and Ethan, the grim reality settled in. Hope, once a flickering flame, began to fade, replaced by a numbing despair.
It's every parent's worst nightmare. Those poor children and Mary. How much more can she take?
The community, once a haven of peace and tranquility, was now shrouded in a cloud of grief and suspicion. Neighbors who once exchanged friendly greetings now eyed each other with distrust, their once peaceful community forever marked by the tragedy that had unfolded within its midst. The trial of Evelyn Stockard, the nurse who had infiltrated the Anderson family, was a media spectacle. The courtroom packed with reporters, curious onlookers, and grieving community members. Evelyn, once a picture of warmth and compassion, now sat stoically at the defendant's table, her face an emotionless mask, her eyes cold and calculating.
The defendant is a master manipulator, a wolf in sheep's clothing. She preyed on the Andersons, worming her way into their lives with a singular purpose: to destroy their family and claim John Anderson for herself.
The jury, after days of deliberation, returned with a guilty verdict, finding Evelyn Stockard guilty on 2 counts of first-degree murder. The courtroom erupted in gasps and sobs, a mixture of relief and grief washing over the room. Evelyn Stockard, the nurse who had shattered a family and torn a community apart, was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole, her crimes forever etched in the annals of true crime history. The aftermath of the tragedy left the community grappling with unanswered questions and a profound sense of loss. The bodies of Emily and Ethan were never found, their disappearance remaining a haunting mystery, a constant reminder of the darkness that had visited their once peaceful town. John Anderson, consumed by guilt and grief, spiraled further into despair, his life a testament to the devastating consequences of his actions. He eventually left the town, unable to escape the ghosts of his past, the memory of his children forever haunting his waking moments.
He couldn't forgive himself. He carried the weight of their deaths on his shoulders, and it ultimately destroyed him.
Mary Anderson, her life irrevocably altered by the tragedy, found solace in her faith and the unwavering support of her community. She dedicated her life to keeping the memory of her children alive, her strength and resilience a testament to the enduring power of a mother's love. The story of the Andersons, a chilling reminder of the dark side of human nature, continues to resonate, a cautionary tale of betrayal, deceit, and the devastating consequences of a nurse's affair that tore a family apart.